Right now at 6, ICE agents deploy to over a dozen airports across the country.
It's helped TSA with security, help move the flow of people through those lines.
ICE was my idea.
A live look tonight on the ground at PDX. Plus,
a lot of the times when police move in, people scatter.
How police handled a local street takeover a little differently.
Then, could prices at the pump lead to a seafood shortage?
Right now, we're in a position where the volatility is constantly through the roof.
And later, the real-world impact of your donations to the KGW Great Food Drive.
Being able to match the need with help it's just magic.
Good evening, everyone. At first at 6, peak spring break travel is underway. And amidst the partial government shutdown, the president is now sending ICE agents to over a dozen airports to try to provide relief, he says, to those long, snaking security lines. Thanks for joining us. I'm David Molko.
And I'm Christine Pitawanich. So far, those ICE agents are not expected at PDX. Devin Haskins is live at the airport this evening. Devin, what's it been like there for most of today?
Yeah, most of today, the wait times here at TSA have been relatively low. In fact, the gates behind me right now, looking at the board, says it's about 9 minutes long. That's low compared to other airports around the country. And as far as TSA agent callouts go, I'm told that those are relatively low here at PDX compared to, again, other airports around the country.
As the partial government shutdown continues and impacts TSA agents working without pay, a big concern is long lines. While PDX wait times hovered around 10 minutes at midday, it was a stark difference to other airports around the country with lines out the door.
It's the most loaded I ever seen in my life.
They were pretty bad. They were out the door, all the way through the terminal, and then to the parking lot where like the Uber drivers were at and stuff.
It's also the start of the busy spring break season at PDX. The airport expecting more than 1 million travelers to come through here over the next 3 weeks.
I've been checking the websites and seeing the times have been looking really good.
Over the weekend, President Trump said he would send ICE agents to some of the busiest airports to help TSA agents out and move lines faster. PDX was not on the list, but airports from Chicago, New York, Atlanta, and Houston among the 13 that were. Trump writing on Truth Social, "I would greatly appreciate, however, no masks when helping our country out of what he called a Democrat-caused mess at the airports."
Their number one mission there, as the president said, is help TSA with security, help move the flow of people through those lines.
NBC News reports that at least 50 ICE personnel per shift will be at each airport, but won't be performing screening duties. Instead, will monitor entrances and exits. Their presence, a topic of conversation and concern for some travelers.
ICE has no place in our airports, and I do not support that.
Yeah, I wasn't thrilled about that. I was wondering when that's starting.
Others we talked with, though, didn't see it as an issue.
100%, yeah, they're just to come and help get people through the exits and entry, and they're not there to scan us or do any of those type things. So,
and I think that's fine in busy times when people are struggling to get home and travel, and if it moves people through, then I don't see any problem with that.
White House border czar Tom Homan said that more airports would be added to the list. It's unclear if PDX will ever make it on that list. President Trump says that if the lines don't improve and they don't move faster, that he would consider sending in the National Guard.
Well, let's hope it doesn't come to that. Devin, just want to shout out all our TSA officers out there who are showing up without pay to help us get where we need to go. Devin Haskins at PDX tonight. Thanks, Devin.
Portland police broke up yet another street takeover earlier this morning in the Lloyd district, citing several people towing cars and even seizing weapons.
Kyle Levoshi's live at the scene in Northeast Portland. So Kyle, what are you learning?
Well, police actually responded to 2 different scenes. One near the airport. When they got there, everybody took off. The other one here near Lloyd Center. In fact, if you look closely, you can see the tire marks on the roadway. Police say at least one driver in a Ford Mustang was performing, quote, dangerous stunts. That driver was detained. This all happened in the early morning hours around 1 a.m. Police say roughly 50 to 100 people were blocking the intersection of Northeast 13th and Multnomah. Several vehicles lined the streets. Once officers had enough backup, they moved in and shut down the street takeover. At least 4 people were given citations, and officers say they seized 3 handguns along with ammo.
A lot of the times when police move in, people scatter. If you have numerous cars leaving a scene at a high rate of speed, that's incredibly dangerous for the participants, for innocent bystanders, for community members.
Street takeovers and illegal street racing have been an ongoing issue for Portland police. In 2023, the Oregon legislature gave police expanded authority to tow and seize vehicles involved in street takeovers. Following this morning's incident, 2 vehicles were towed.
Kyle Aboshi reporting. Thank you, Kyle. We'll take a look at this video from early this morning.
Wow.
Whoa, I know. It shows what appears to be a fireball just searing through the Oregon sky. We got a few clips from viewers today. It shows the streak happening just after 6 a.m.
Experts at OMSI tell us this is, yes, likely a meteor. They say the greenish color, which a lot of people observed across the Northwest, is because of its content. In this case, sounds like magnesium.
Interesting. Okay, let's send things over to Celine Stevens of the Weather Center now for a look at what to expect on your Monday night. Hey, Celine.
Hey, Christine. Yeah, we're going to be pretty much seeing the clouds rolling in as we're seeing right now, and then rain really in about 12 hours. But right now, taking a look at our Wells Fargo's Tower sky camera, seeing temperatures in the low 50s. As you can see, again, the clouds started to roll in a little earlier this afternoon ahead of the frontal system that will arrive overnight. But right now, temperatures across our map, 54 in Troutdale, mid 50s in McMinnville, and then temperatures along the coast a little bit cooler, looking at low 50s in places like Tillamook, 46 degrees in Newport. And of course, we are cooler right now than we were at this time yesterday. Yesterday, we hit around 60 at PDX. Today, we're 4 degrees cooler right now than this time yesterday. Same story in Vancouver, 6 degrees along the coast, actually. A little bit warmer, though, in Tillamook. But here is where we're going. We're going to wake up tomorrow, 7 a.m., upper 40s and also rainy conditions. And that's going to last throughout the day. Rainy and windy, so keep that in mind. And that'll also take us into Wednesday. You'll see it right here. Some sprinkles could start tonight around 10:30. Then we see that rain move into the area by early Tuesday. And again, it sticks around Tuesday into Wednesday. We don't see a change till Thursday. We'll talk more about it later in the show.
We're robust. We can take a little rain. No worries. Thank you, Celine.
In your headlines tonight, police are looking for the shooter or shooters who fired shots at an events venue over the weekend, leaving 3 teenagers injured. This is around 10 Saturday night at the Northwest Events and Environments venue along Century Boulevard. All 3 teens were rushed to the hospital and all are expected to survive. Police still aren't saying much more than that.
With any teenage juvenile type of investigation, we become very limited as to what information we're even allowed to share. Detectives are looking into every lead, obviously seeking additional information from people that may have seen or heard about what happened, just to help with the case.
No one has been arrested, though authorities say they do not believe there is an ongoing threat to the public.
We're also learning more about a shooting at the Clackamas Town Center Max platform Saturday night, with deputies stopping 7 minors, some they say, who tried to get away in a stolen car. The shooting was reported just after 7 p.m. Investigators say 4 juveniles then led deputies on a chase on I-205 in a stolen car, then crashed into several other cars at the Washington Street exit. 3 other minors were stopped on the I-205 bike path. Police seized 2 guns and say no injuries were reported in the shooting. Only one of the juveniles has been arrested, but the investigation continues.
Well, the U.S. Supreme Court heard arguments today over mail-in voting in a case out of Mississippi over whether ballots that arrive after Election Day should still be counted. The Associated Press, the AP reporting the court's conservative majority sounded skeptical of those late arriving ballots. A final ruling is expected in June. If justices decide those so-called grace periods violate federal law, Oregon and Washington would have to make adjustments to their voting rules in time for the midterms in November.
Portland Public Schools and the Teachers Union have agreed to shorten the school year to make up for a budget shortfall. Teachers will take 4 furlough days on May 1st and 25th, as well as June 9th and 10th. The school year will now end on the 5th of June. Portland Public Schools' mid-year budget gap has now grown to $14 million, and the district is also facing another $50 million deficit next school year.